Good afternoon. Fly me eye. Welcome to the View Behind Blue Eyes. This afternoon I'm located, you can see that, I'm located, let me just turn, just on the cusp of Overstone and what we call the back lane around Overstone, which goes out towards the Eastern Districts. Now why am I here? There you go. So, why am I here? Well, I'm not here to see this new build, the Overstone Gate. I'm here because I thought, as a matter of emergency, when I was a boy, I lived in the village of Moulton, which is somewhere over that way. And from my bedroom window, I could see across the fields, because this all used to be fields at one time, I could see across the fields a property in the distance. And with a bit of luck and half-ton bomb in the back of my truck, as the song goes, I might just be able to make out that property just over the wall here. Let's just zoom in for everybody. There we go. It might be a little bit blurred. Picture doesn't do it justice. That is Overstone Hall. And I used to be able to see that from my bedroom window. So I looked across from Moulton as I was growing up as a child in the distance on a clear day. In 2001, my mum and I watched from our bedroom window as that building was on fire. 2001, approximately 50% of that building was burnt to the ground, or burnt to a shell. So let me give you a bit of history. Overstone Hall was constructed in 1860 in Northampton, England. It's reported to be the world's first building to have a double skinned wall. Two skins of masonry separated by an air gap. So in effect, cavity wall heating system. It also had central heating and gas lighting. It was designed by William Milford Toulon in a Baroque Italian manner. It was built for the first Baron of Overstone and his wife Harriet, so Lord and Lady Overstone. Now, Lady Overstone passed away before it was finished, and Lord Overstone reportedly disliked the house so much he never moved in. He called it an unmitigated disappointment. So when Lord Overstone passed in 1883, it passed to his daughter, Lady Wantage, who owned the property until 1920, when she passed. It went through a few owners after that. Apparently there was some wealthy property magnate owned it for a little while, and might have been a college. But in the 1920s, Charlotte Mason School Company purchased it and turned it into a girls' boarding school. Now, the upkeep of the school came too much for the school. The upkeep of the school and the buildings became so much that the school had to close in 1979. And in 1980, the New Testament of God Church brought it. However, as I mentioned, in 2001, more than 15% of it was engulfed in flames, and this is what me and my mum watched from my bedroom window. It was still in the ownership of the New Testament of God Church until 2014. In 2008, they hired out the remaining part of the property to the Abbeyfield Dorcas Society, and they set it up as retirement homes, and it ran until 2014, when after a fair few years of trying, the New Testament of God Church managed to dispose of the property, and it became to its current owners, the Barry Howard Home Group. So they purchased it in 2015. Originally they had the intent of restoring the building, and then building houses in the grounds and creating an attractive area to live in, with the stately home at the heart of the properties. So there was a little bit of history and a little bit of shaky photography, I'm sorry about that. So why have I come down here? Well, in March this year, the property was set ablaze again, and the remaining areas of the property that hadn't already been devastated by fire in 2001 were devastated this time. And the current owners, the Barry Harwood company, have put in an application to have it demolished so that they can build houses all over it. Now, at the time of recording in September, there's recently been other stories in the paper of beautiful buildings like this getting demolished straight after fires. I won't delve into that because even though this is maybe suspected arson, we're not going to point any fingers at the current owners. I was hoping that I might be able to get a better view for you, and maybe I will. What I'll try and do is I'll try and walk up the road here, the back lane, and see if I can get a decent view. Well, that didn't take long. See if I can zoom in on it as best I can, hopefully. Hold it straight now, there you go. So there is Overstone Hall. Currently waiting a decision from Northampton Borough Council about whether the current owners can bulldoze it and build on it. Excuse the cars, it's a busy road. Now, it's a beautiful looking building. I always remember it growing up as it looks across. I knew it was a girls' school back then. I remember the church, the New Church, Testament of God, whatever they call themselves. I think they were known locally in the Northampton area as the Jesus Army. I remember them owning it, and I remember that they used to hold, well, they used to rent the grounds for people to hold events on. And this place has been shut up for a very long time, since 2015. And the current owners came into possession, and nothing has been built on it yet. However, I really need to get my gimbal out. However, that could change shortly, and this view could be gone forever. And that would be such a shame. To see such a historic building removed from here. Now, as I said, kind of never got used as a stately home. Not by its original owners, anyway. It's unusual that Lord Overstone disliked it too much. But nevertheless, it's been here a long time. Now, this back row route, certainly down to the village of Moulton, has changed considerably. Over there you can see some more of what they call Overstone Gate. This is Overstone Farmhouse, so this building's been here for a long time. And we're just coming up to a junction where the original gatehouse sat for Overstone Hall. Now, there is a building here, but it's undergone extensive changes in the few years, and I can remember the gatehouse being, because this road in front of us, which is now a dead end, cars used to come racing up here, and never always stopped, and would end up crashing into the gates of the gatehouse. So this is actually it's not the original. It's got some original parts that it's been extended on from the original. It was smaller than this. It's been enlarged, and it's currently up for sale. It's known as Pychley Gates Lodge. It's a fine bit of building itself, and even this has had some work, because as I said, this road here used to be a public road, and this used to be the road that used to come up from Moulton, which I travelled up myself many times when I was first learning to drive in my little old bangers that I used to drive. and we used to see the gate in front of us, and there you can also see, if you look through the mill of the gate, the hall in the background. So this intention really was for horses and carts, or cars, to go through here and then travel up to the hall. When it was owned by the estate, that was. This is now privately owned. So this gate and this lodge is privately owned. It was sold many years ago. It's been privately owned for as long as I can remember. But the grounds are quite extensive, so I can understand why the people that own the hall would like to build as many properties on there as possible. There's a lot of money to be made out of it, as we can see from the Overstone Gate project, which takes up some severe acreage. All that was farm fields not very many years ago. Now, I don't like to intrude on people. I'm going to try and see if I can get a little bit closer. I have a plaque over here. Northamptonshire County Council. It says central carriage arch really stood in linear entrance to Pipesey Hall near Kettering. This arch was probably designed between 1580 and 1590. Oh crikey, I never knew that. So this is actually older than the hall. An alternative option is that it was built in 1605 to mark the visit of Anne of Denmark to her husband King James I while visiting Aberfoyle. Pipesey Hall was demolished in 1824 and the gateway was left standing for 19 years. Lloyd Lewis, the estate owner, then erected it here. Okay, so Lord Overstone, though he disliked the hall, actually had this gateway erected here. It was his main residence. The side gateway and the cast iron gates were made at that time. Central motif of Buck's Head is the Lloyd family crest. Well, I've learned something today. So the Buck's Head is on the gates. So that is the Lloyd family crest. And as you can see, in 1973 the gate was almost completely rebuilt after being severely damaged by a car. And a second vehicle accident happened in April 2008. I remember that one. I do remember that one. I was a little bit too young in 73 to remember the first one. So, even though the property, the lodge, is up for sale, the gate has historic heritage site, will always remain. Let's stand back from it a little bit. It's cracking, isn't it? So we may lose the hall, but we won't lose the gate. Well worth just coming having a little read of this if you get a choice. The hall in the distance. Well aware that this is a private property and I don't want to intrude, so I'll retreat. But yes, come and see it before it's destroyed. So is there any hope for Overstone Hall? Well, maybe. The Northampton, or the Victorian Society, Heritage Society, has tried to oppose the current owner's plans to destroy the hall. They believe it should be rebuilt, and I must agree with them. I think it should. I think there's a petition online, so maybe go and check that out, sign that petition. Maybe we can help save this before it's too late. Anyway, you don't get more stunning than that, really, do you? What a great view. Anyway, it was only a small one today. I know what my view on it is. Save it. It is my view, and that is the view behind Blue Eyes. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Talk to me, Goose.